Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back for another pick a card here at Scatterlovetarot, coming at you with, this will be a fun one. This is if, say, your person or a family member or somebody went and got a tarot reading about you, how would a tarot reader describe you? So this is going to be a little bit, it might seem a little confusing, but I'll explain it on each reading how it's going to go. So we'll go ahead and get a card to pick from, and I've got your gemstones or your crystals picked out already. So with that being said, if these resonate with you guys, hit that thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel, set that notification bell, knowing that as you guys interact with the channel, it allows me an opportunity to get you out more resonant readings. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that has decided to join this tribe. I'm truly honored and blessed to have each and every one of you guys here on my channel supporting me in any one way, shape, or form. I'm just truly humbled. If you are new here, know that you guys are welcome with open arms. Come as you are, as we are all humans. We are all here living this life, just trying to make it through, and there's no judgment here. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into your prayer. And we'll get into this fun little reading that I have planned for today. All right, we're going to burn some dragon's blood today. All right. Make sure we're good and burning. Because sometimes if you don't get a good burn on the incense, they like to go out for whatever reason. Perfect. My beloved source, I pray that you put your healing hand upon any and all who come onto this video, whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. May they be inundated with the knowledge of their own intuition and their discernment to make the best decisions that serve their life in this here, now, here moment. May they find the truth of who they are in the depths of their soul and embrace that, the light, the dark, and everything in between. May they remember that as a human, we're just here to experience what life has to offer and finding our way back home and having this experience to connect with our higher selves, to connect with our heart, to connect with the action of what it is that we're capable of doing in this world. And never giving up on ourselves, but to remember that we have the strength and the courage to continue on. May all those on this tribe and on this video be blessed with this knowing, be blessed with this internal light. As these words are spoken in this space, on this reading, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go ahead and knock that off and get this over here out of the way because I'm tired. I don't know if you guys know, on the last few videos, I was like, I'm so tired of swallowing incense smoke. So I have moved my incense burner over there. So we are going to get one of these. I was drawn to get one of these cards for this particular reading. And we're going to find out, give it a good shuffle here. How would a tarot reader describe you to them? So source, what oracle card for pile number 1 will help us understand how a tarot reader would describe pile number 1 to the person that's asking about them? What oracle card will help us understand how a tarot reader would describe pile number 1? Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Source for pile number 2, how would a tarot reader, wow, I didn't even get a chance to ask it, they were already on it. I got you. Okay, and the same for pile number 3, what oracle card would help us understand how a tarot reader would describe them to their person? Okay, I'm not going to change it. We're also not going to do that where we read both of them, but anyways, we're going to get over here. Let's put this here. Move things around. My table is full. But that's okay. I've got big plans for today. Okay, so for pile number 1, we do have this beautiful tiger's eye. I love this. I know. I already hear you guys. You love the last one. I know. I love them all, guys. But anyways, for pile number 1, we have this beautiful tiger's eye for you guys to choose from. pile number 2, we have this beautiful clear crystal quartz. Okay. And for pile number 3, we have the green aventurine. So let me make sure I get these all in frame here. Move that up a tad. So we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and whichever one you guys are drawn to, that should be your pile. Keeping in mind they are general readings, but I will see you guys on your perspective piles. Right, my fellow humans that chose pile number 1, or this beautiful tiger's eye, this is going to be your pile on how would a tarot reader describe you. Okay, so before we get into this, to make things a little bit easier for me, when I say they, I'm referring to you, okay? Because we're going to act like this is someone getting a tarot reading on you, okay? But in order for you guys to understand this as we're moving forward, I'm not going to mention you. If I mention you, I'm going to be referring to the person getting the tarot reading. So just remember, you are they, and they are you. Okay? If you guys got to write it down, I totally understand. So I hope that makes sense, but let's go ahead and ask the dice. And also, if this resonates with you guys, hit that thumbs up button down below, subscribe to the channel, set that notification bell, so that way you guys always get notified when the next video does get uploaded. And know that as you guys continue to interact with the channel, it allows me an opportunity to get you out more resonant readings. Perfect. So let's ask the dice. Source, how would a tarot reader describe pile 1? How would a tarot reader describe pile 1 if their person went and got a reading for them? How would a tarot reader describe pile 1? Okay, so okay. So definitely they are family oriented, right? Like there's this energy of being a homebody. We have mother and father energy here. So this very good balance of being a homebody and loving to be at home, or loving to help guide others, or loving to help teach others, right? They could very much be a spiritual teacher or a teacher or someone who is helping others just through hardships, counseling, or just somebody who's really great at advice. And this is something that they are very passionate about. This is something that they really enjoy doing, right? But it has to do, the reason that they're like this is because of some kind of situation that has happened at home. It's very close to their heart. This is something that they're very much like, I want to help the world heal from this, because it's something that they themselves have experienced or not experienced in their own lives. And so they're very much in this place of trying to build a foundation to help others see what is good, what is right for them, and having a voice when maybe they don't feel like they had a voice before, right? Whoever's in their life and whoever's around them, or whoever it is that they help, maybe they don't feel like they have a voice or they have a say. And it's very important to this person that they make sure that those that aren't capable of speaking up have someone to be their advocate for them. It feels like a deep responsibility for them, right? Because it's almost like a burden and a gift at the same time, where it's a burden as they remember the pain and the heartache that they've experienced in life. And they remember the hardships that they've gone through. It's also the blessing of knowing that they can help others heal from something that is very similar or the exact same situation. And so there's this sense of responsibility for holding this and making sure that they take authority where authority matters. It's not for controlling. This is all about finding a way to help others. And they're very disciplined and they're very hardworking and they're very strategic about the way that they approach life. But no matter what, this person is very passionate and they have survival instincts that one might not even understand. Like, this is more than just street smarts. This is more than book smarts. This is someone who has an innate knowing of how to survive in the world based on the things that are going around them. So they're very observant. They have a lot of desires and wants in life. And they're a leader and they like to have respect and they command respect. And if someone isn't going to give them respect, they're not afraid to cut them out. Like, this is someone who does make rash decisions sometimes based on the way people treat them. And that's all based on that survival instinct that they have. They also enjoy competition and they're not afraid of competition. So if someone shows up and like, oh, I'm better than you, they're going to be someone that says, bring it on and let's see. You know, put your money where your mouth is. That's the type of energy that they have. And they're very passionate and strong. This is a strong-willed person that we're talking about here. So let's go ahead and get some cards out on it. Okay. All right, source, for pile number 1, how would a tarot reader describe them to this person they're getting a reading from? How would a tarot reader describe them, source? Okay, thank you. How would a tarot reader describe them? How would a tarot reader describe pile number 1 to a person getting a tarot reading on them? How would a tarot reader describe pile number 1? Thank you. How would a tarot reader describe pile number 1, source? Okay, thank you. How would a tarot reader describe pile number 1, source? Thank you. Yeah. They are extremely passionate, extremely motivated, driven. This is someone who you can't match their work habits, their work styles, or their hustle because they're so much on point. They want everything good in their life, and they've healed from a lot of upsets that they've been through. This is all about balancing their energy, and that's exactly what they've done, is they've gone through a lot to balance their energy, and they're extremely passionate about what it is that they do. So this could be them helping others, right? Like we saw in the dice, or this could just be life in general. Like, they're very driven to do what they want to do in life and to achieve what they want to achieve. And this is like, no one is going to stop them. They have this very fiery energy, which is indicative of the tiger's eye as well, right? This is the ruler. This rules the solar plexus, or it's connected with the solar plexus. It's very fiery, action-oriented energy. So let's see what's coming out here. Yeah, they've been put in some really difficult situations, especially financially. So the reason that they may want to help others, this person could be a financial advisor. Yeah, they don't have to be, but this person could very well be a financial advisor. They could be someone who has learned how to save their money, and they teach others how important it is to have a savings, or they teach others that it's always good to have like a rainy day fund, or what is that called? Mad money or mattress money, right? Because there's been times in their life when they've struggled and they've seen unfair situations that have happened when it comes to money. So this could have been someone stole from them, or someone took advantage of their kindness, or someone took advantage of the fact that maybe they had a house and they let someone move in with them, right? And that someone was like always saying, "Oh, I'll help you out, I'll help you out, I'll help you out," but then that help never came. And then they ended up looking like the bad guy in a situation because they had to make a choice. Was it, I let this person still take advantage of me, or I kicked them out? And it was like this fight. There's this fight that's coming through here with these two cards that they've had to decide, is it better to be what society wants me to be or deems me to be? Or is it better for me to do what I know I'm capable of doing and take action towards that? Which has brought them a lot of success, right? This isn't someone who's necessarily super wealthy, but they could be. This is someone, though, who knows how to keep a savings, and they're not afraid to put money back. They pay themselves first, right? They pay themselves first. They are capable of saying no. They are capable of cutting things short because it's not serving them in the material world. This is also someone who's worked hard for everything that they have. So like the car that they own, the house that they own, or the apartment they live in, or the clothes that they have on their back, the shoes they wear on their feet. Like they take pride in those things because they've worked hard for it and they know what it is to live without. And they have good fortune. They have good fortune in their life, but they know that their good fortune only comes from them taking action towards what it is that they want. Nothing is going to fall into their lap. This is not someone who will sit around hoping that what they want is just going to fall from the sky. So honestly, if you're interested in getting with this person, they're not going to wait around and hope that one day you're going to see the light. You either step up or step off. And they're like that. They're not going to sit around and wait for you to get your stuff together. They're like basically like, if you're interested or if you want to be a part of my life, you step up or step off. I'm not going to sit around and wait and hope that you figure it out, especially if they've said something to you or they've come towards you with some sort of passionate offer or a love offer, or, you know, this could be just like, hey, let's have fun and let's see where it goes, right? And if you're sitting around wondering, oh, what do I do? Do they love me? For them, it's not necessarily about deep love. This is about, are you stable enough and are you ready to build a life? And that's what it comes from. And that's because they've been in situations where they've been completely dependent either on someone else or dependent on the circumstances outside of themselves, and that's not something that they enjoy, and they're not going to put themselves in that situation again. They're not afraid to begin again, but they're also never going to put themselves in a situation where they are struggling. This was something that came from the home, though. We saw that with the fourth house here, and I'm getting that with these two cards as well. This is something that came from the home. So this could have been, maybe they had a single mother who, they had a single mother who raised them and their siblings and struggled and maybe worked like 3 and 4 jobs just to keep food on the table. And it feels like they had to grow up extremely fast. Like that's the energy that I'm getting here, is that they had to grow up extremely fast in the world. And you know, if their mom was a single parent who's trying to put food on the tables, like when they turned 14, 15, or 16, when they could get a work release from school, it's like they were already working. And this could be someone who's dropped out of school to help support the family, but in turn went and got like a GED, or, you know, was able to make a success of themselves in the world. Like that's why they're not going to wait around, because they know that waiting around doesn't make things happen. This could have been someone who saw a mom expect, like I keep getting the mother wound here. So this definitely feels like a mother situation. It doesn't have to be. This could have been a father situation too. Like, but I feel like the father wasn't always necessarily present. Like whether he was at work all the time, or there's a sense of gambling that's coming through here. There's this feeling of like leaving the house. There's a masculine energy that's left the house. And so it put this person in their masculine energy. And it was like, rather than healing the wounded feminine, they healed the wounded masculine, because they realized that that was where support came from, was the masculine energy. And they quickly healed that. And so at this point, they are dealing with healing the wounded feminine. But this could have been someone who grew up in a home where it was like, as soon as they were old enough, they were also helping putting bread on the table. Like it was like everybody supplies, everybody helps, everybody is contributing in some way, shape, or form. They could have been taking care of their siblings. They could have been the one that was like making sure everybody got ready for school, or they had to wake up hella early to get lunch ready for everybody. And so when they were old enough, they turned their own fortune by finding a way to provide for themselves in a world that basically said that they couldn't. And they weren't going to let the world say no, no matter how rough things got, no matter how much they suffered, no matter how much they were in a place that made it seem hopeless, that made it seem pointless. They were going to make some sense out of it themselves. And so they started young and trying to heal. And I'm feeling like this is absolutely the wounded masculine coming through here. They healed this, realizing that they could make money and save it at the same time. And they weren't going to put themselves in a situation where they've seen somebody else in their life go through. It was just an unfair circumstance. And it's something that still weighs on their heart. And it's something that makes them feel very uncomfortable to talk about. Like, it's not, this person's not going to just sit down with you and be like, hey, when I grew up, I went through this. Like, no, this is something that they have to trust you fully in order to open up about. And to trust you fully means that you have to prove your worth to them and your contribution in their life. It's not that they expect anything from you, but they do have this standard of, is if you take something from them, they're no longer going to be a part of your life. They're very masculine, strong energy, right? And this could be a man that we're dealing with. This could be a woman. It doesn't matter. But the thing is here is that this is someone who is very much in this energy of like, I'm not going to allow someone to come in and put me in a bad situation. Let's get a little bit more on this for pile one. Oh, thank you. One more. It's on the bottom here. Yeah. We have the 9 of Spades here. It's like this just feels like, again, that energy coming through where it's like they had many sleepless nights, but not just sleepless nights, like nightmares and fears that are connected to how things were at one point in time in their life. And it's like, maybe they deal with insomnia. And maybe there's times when they can't go to sleep because they're remembering the hardships that they had to go through to get to where they are. Like I say, I don't feel like they struggle too much now. Okay, like that's not the energy that I'm getting here. I do not feel like they struggle too much now. Look, I moved this to pull off the top card, and underneath it, it's the King of Diamonds, right? So it's like they're in this stable energy for themselves. They're capable of supporting themselves, but that doesn't keep them from experiencing this fear and this upset that they're dealing with. Right. And realizing that when they were a kid, they couldn't tell their mom, they couldn't tell their parent, oh, that's a red flag. Like, this is something that's not going to serve you well. This is not going to end well. Or maybe they did, but they realized that no matter how many times they said it, they couldn't convince a parent that a child knew what was going to happen. And they struggle sometimes with self-belief because no one believed them when they were a child, or believed them to that extent, or trusted them enough to see it from the outside looking in. And so sometimes they deal with a lot of struggling on, is my intuition right? Because there's so much in this masculine energy. They're very much in the material world. And so sometimes dealing with the spiritual side of things can get tricky, even though they are attempting. It's just that it can get tricky for them, right? Like we have the 9 of Hearts underneath that. It's like, and the 6 of Hearts. This person is so loving and caring and giving, but not very many people get to experience this of them because They don't trust. Like, this is not someone who's going to just give you their trust. They really believe if you want trust and respect, that's something that's earned. And that's just because of the life that they've experienced. We have the Six of Clubs here represented by the House of God. Again, this energy of things falling apart. They grew up, but their success in life, their growth in life, and they know this, their growth in life came from those hardships that they experienced. It's like they know, even if they don't consciously know, subconsciously they know that if they hadn't experienced these hardships and these difficult times, that they would not provide the way that they do for themselves now. They wouldn't save money the way that they do. It's everything that they went through and all the things that fell apart for them that put them in this space of knowing I have to save for that rainy day, especially with the lightning here and the storm. It's like when the storm comes in, you better be prepared. So this is someone who always has, like, if their car breaks down, like, they have savings to take care of their car, even though they might not have more than that, right? Like, they might not be able to take care of their car and go on a trip to Hawaii at the same time, or maybe they do. But it's like they're not going to take their trip to Hawaii and leave their car broken down. Like, they're going to make sure they take care of their basic needs and what it is that has had them in this fear-based energy of not feeling like they were worthy of surviving. Yeah, and this is something that they've learned to offer themselves. So they may have learned that either early on in their life, or maybe there was a point where they gave so much, like I was saying, that house situation, they gave so much to someone in their adult life and they realized that this is never going to change until I change it. And it doesn't always have to be with money, but I really feel like this is geared towards support, stability, structure, foundation in this physical realm. So this could be anything. Maybe they were always relying on a friend giving them a ride to school. This could be just them getting a car and taking care of their car. Maybe they always had to live with family, and this could be them getting a house and taking care of their house. But it just feels like something that's very materialistic and not necessarily, again, those spiritual things, those non-tangible things in life. This is them having stability with work because they've had struggles. This is them taking care of themselves because they've had struggles. And their struggles are what made them so strong. And I feel like there is some modicum of gratitude that they've experienced that, but there is still pain that comes from that. There is still pain that's experienced because of that. Like, it's like they have really high highs and really low lows, and sometimes it's just them having to process what's going on. But when they're in their low lows, they do have a tendency, because they rely on the masculine energy, they do have a tendency to compartmentalize that at times. Yeah, and then we have the Eight of Spades here, also depicting justice. So justice was served, but I feel like they were the judge, the jury, and the executioner. It's like they became the judge, jury, and executioner of their own life. They had to learn to trust themselves, and they had to learn that not everybody had their best interest in mind. It's like they had to figure out, what I'm seeing with my eyes doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's really going on. And so it's like if somebody was promising them the world, they had to learn to really pay attention and see the red flags. Like I was saying, like they couldn't tell the adults in their life that, oh, this is a red flag, this is a problem, we need to let this go so that we can move on from this. And that in turn weighed on them and put them in a headspace where maybe they experienced that with friends, family, or lovers in the future. And so that's where this lack of trusting others comes from, and it weighs on them a lot. And so they're in this period, you can see they're in this period of really understanding that they're the ones in control of their own thoughts, but likewise, they're in control of believing in themselves. They're in control of learning that I have to trust myself fully if I'm ever going to trust another person. And we were talking about how sometimes they struggle to believe in themselves. And so right now they're really, really in this space of trying to learn how to believe in themselves. And that's not going to change whether you believe in them or not. That's not going to change. This is something that they themselves have to figure out in order for it to stick. Because this is not someone who will listen, like they'll listen to advice and they'll take it into account. But this is not someone who's going to say, oh, I need your advice because I need to listen to your advice. This is someone who's going to listen to all options and then find the best route for them. The path of least resistance that they feel like for them, because they're that strong. Like, they're not worried about someone else solving their problems for them, right? Yeah, I was getting Piscean energy, and we had Pisces come out. I wish I had said it, but that's okay. We have intimacy, intuition, and compassion. These are new, right? They're very kind, generous, loving person, and we had that here with these, the six of hearts and the 9 of hearts coming out here, right? And the 6 of hearts also depicts the lovers. They had to make a choice. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes they need to have stability over love, right? That doesn't mean that they don't worry about it. But here we go. It's like them learning to have that intimacy and intuition with themselves and compassion for themselves. This is something that we're learning here, or they're learning here. And you see these 2 fish here. They look like the 2 fish here on this card. Those really high highs and those really low lows. And it's like learning to have compassion for themselves when they're in those lows, and learning that the really high highs will eventually pass. There's no like one moment that's going to stay for forever for them, right? And that's something that they're also trying to balance out right now at this time. So let's see. The Watcher. They could watch you. You could be watching them. But I do feel like at some point, like, they do watch you because they do care about you. But again, I feel like that's a thing. Like, they've said something at one point in time, and they're not going to come back around to reiterate it. Like, this is very much, it's like, I said what I meant what I said, and that's it. And then you have this clock down here too, where it looks like, no, what is that? Oh, that's it looked like a clock. It made me think of a clock. So I'm going to go based on what it was. It's like they feel like this time is running out for them waiting on you to come forward. It's like, I've sat around long enough, because they're not somebody that sits and waits. But right now it's like they're kind of just trying to judge where it is that you're at in life. And it's like, if basically this time goes by, they're going to say, nope, that's enough. I've waited for too long. I'm going to move on to the next thing. Like, they're not going to sit here. And that's because they're definitely wise on what's good for them. And they found a way to maneuver life, maybe not necessarily based on their intuition, but because they've watched everything that goes on in their life. We have 15 coming out, and that's another 6. 6 could be a very powerful number for this person. And that's just because right now they're looking for balance. They're finding balance in their life. They need balance in order to have success. The success that they want. It's not that they're not successful. They are successful. But the success and the dreams that they desire right now, it's all hinging upon them finding balance between the masculine and the feminine, balance between trusting self and trusting others, balance between compassion for self and compassion for others. We have lightning with duality. We talked about the lightning here, and that's what it made me think of, was this card. It's talking about you can't have one without the other, and that's why I was saying there is this energy that at their heart, they are grateful for the bad situations that have come through, but right now they could be trying to bring this into their subconscious so that they can truly understand that without these bad situations, I would not be the strong individual that I am today, right? Without lightning, thunder does not exist. Without good, bad does not exist. Without bad, good does not exist. Without ugly, beautiful does not exist. Like these are things that are true. That's the dualistic nature of our life. That is the contrast that we live in. And so right now, this definitely feels like a lot of turbulent energy coming through of them trying to bring this knowledge into their consciousness. And there may be a struggle with accepting the past, but they know that that's the best way for them to move forward. Their soul is definitely leading them this way. It is definitely putting them on this path so that they can really embrace the darkness and the light within themselves, understanding that one is not separate from the other, that we have the yin and the yang, right? Or the yin and the yang. And you think of the yin yang sign, right? One doesn't exist without the other. You have the darkness that has the dot of light, and you have the light that has a dot of darkness. And that's what they're like learning at this time. But it is a process, right? No one is going to be able to learn that right overnight. Like, it takes time in order for us to learn that. And so there are times when they do struggle. But there are also times when they're in integration. We have number 8 coming out. Yeah, they're clearing karmic cycles within themselves. Love who you are. You are divine, delightful, and deserving of the wonderful things life has to offer. So right now, they're learning to love who they are fully. And we were talking about that integration. Look, guys, underneath this card, we had childhood innocence. They're healing their inner child. We talked about how this comes from their childhood. And so they're learning how to love both aspects of themselves, right? Knowing that they're wonderful beings. But if you've been on the self-love journey, you know that's not easy. Like, loving oneself is oftentimes one of the most difficult journeys that we'll experience in life. It makes it worth it, because nothing worth having is easy, but it doesn't make it always beautiful and wonderful, right? Yeah, so we have water, we have spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. We had Pisces on the bottom, we have Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer energy here. We had Cancer with the 4th house. So again, they're really trying to embrace this spiritual side. This is the wounded mother coming through. This is what they're really trying to embrace at this time, but they may be having difficulties with it. It doesn't make them a non-compassionate person. It doesn't make them a non-loving person. They're actually very loving. They're very compassionate, but it's not something that is seen because they've learned to shelter themselves and build a wall from it, from the world. Look, we have number 11 with power and deer. Power is something that they are. They are the embodiment of power. This person is super strong, but they've learned to be strong by not showing their emotions. And now they're learning how to be vulnerable, to open up and show their emotions, realizing that this is not a weakness, but this is where they draw their true power from. And they could be a deer totem. I also heard that could be their power animal. Fairies, earth magic. Yeah, they're learning how to nurture themselves. And they're learning that nurturing is actually something that brings forth a lot of magic in their life, right? It's like something that maybe they've missed out on because it's like they've had to be so tough. This is someone who's tough as nails. Like, it's like you can hammer on them all day and they'll never break down. They're not going to show you their weaknesses. And for them, they've always thought that love, that soft side of love, has been a weakness because growing up, they felt like they saw that as a weakness from somebody, because they saw that somebody get hurt when they were soft side of love, or when they would give themselves kindly and this, that, and the other. It was like they didn't see firm boundaries. And so it was this idea that the soft side of love is what makes us weak. And so now they're learning how to embrace this, and it's very scary for them. It is very outside of the box for them. Look, we have number 11. Look to your inner strength. You're stronger than you realize. Exactly what we were just talking about. How embracing this inner love is where their power comes from. This person is so strong. And I feel like that's what drew you to them, is how strong that they are. That's what drew you to their, it's like they just have this magnetic power. We have 1111 together right here. This person is actually far more spiritual than they even realize. They may have some very innate gifts that they're about to unlock as they bring themselves into this state of vulnerability and just let themselves be who they are. But that doesn't make it easy. Also, it's pile 1, and we have 1111 with the Ace of Wands right here next to it. And so there's just this power coming through of not only having faith in the process, but knowing that it's a new beginning for them. They're in the process of opening up to that new beginning. Let's see what this card is. Number 4, right, with the 4th house, we have against the grain. And you see how she's swimming, right? She's swimming and everything else is like going the other way. It's like going against the way that they're flying. It's like nothing that they do. And if you look at the watermarks on them, it's like always makes me feel like someone has been lashed with a whip. And that's exactly the type of life that this person has lived. They've been, it's like every time they got up, someone lashed at them and knocked them down again. And it was just always really difficult for them. But that never stopped them from getting back up. And they're tired, guys. Like, this is someone who is exhausted. Like, maybe they've gotten back up this whole time, but that doesn't mean that they're not tired. There are moments when they just truly do want to give up. There are moments when they really just want to break down and just leave it to someone else, but they know that no one else can do this but them. And it's just like, when's their big break? And I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune coming out, there's going to be a big break for this person soon. And so you might be around to see it. You might be a part of that big break. But I do feel like something very fortunate is about to happen for them. I'm going to read this. It says, you want birds to be able to fly underwater. You want love to trump power. You want humanity to relate to each other as equals and recognize the sacredness in you and in the world around you. You want to unleash the beauty that hides in even the ugliest of scenes or sentiments. You want to make possible what others say cannot be. You are a radical dreamer, a sacred rebel, and you bring the light of a more positive future to the world. However, this can have its burdens. Isn't that everything that we've just talked about? How burdensome this feels, how they're exhausted, but they're finding the power in their vulnerability, like in that dualistic nature they're learning. Deep within, you may feel that you don't really fit in with the rest of the world. Perhaps your sense of how things can be and how they really are is so different to the smaller minds or more fearful hearts of many others that you rarely receive for all that you offer. This might make you feel frustrated, thwarted, or lonely at times. The universe loves you, so loves you for your unusual take on things, for the quirkiness in you that dares to honor that which is different and renders the impossible possible. You must never ever lose your unusual ways and become dry, serious, appropriate, and conventional, not even for appearance's sake, for you would lose your essence. You are here to show that life is so much more than conventional success. This oracle comes with a special message for you. You are someone who lives and breathes in the depths of creative waters. You need to lose yourself to the flow of music, nature, dreams, imagination, and fantasy through art, literature, meditation, dance, and its central surrender to the sacred waters of the ocean, the river, the lake, or the bathtub. You might go against the grain. It's just your way. You are not one of the followers, but one of the agitators. However, yours is not a force of disrespected chaos. You are a loving catalyst by simply being yourself. You constantly remind people that there is always another way. This oracle comes with the particular guidance that you are meant to be exactly as you are. You are meant to be a black sheep, the rainbow sheep, or even the wild wolf in the flock of sheep. The daring butterfly spirit calling to the caterpillars. This is you. The price you pay for the gift of individuality is that you must take care of it and guard it so that you are not doled down and conditioned into playing at being something that you are not. If this has happened or is threatening to happen, this oracle brings you comfort. You will always dream of birds that fly underwater. You know that the true nature of your being can never be changed. At most, it can only be hidden for a time. Now is the time to accept who you are and allow your truths to be freely expressed. Don't worry about the effects of going against the grain. When we are who we are in truth, we attract the support, protection, and energy that we need to thrive. Your inner power again, guys, comes from aligning your outward self with your inner truth, not with the general consensus. You will then find other dreamers, other wild butterflies, and atypical colored sheep to join you in conjuring better visions for the world. Yeah, so they're in a time of great transformation right now, of really unleashing their true power, standing true in who they are. But it doesn't mean it comes without its scars. It doesn't mean it comes without its heartaches. It's just learning to reuse that energy for something that's conducive to their journey, and that is what they're doing at this time. So this is what I have for you, pile one. I hope that it resonates. This was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, and I really enjoyed doing this for you guys. If it did resonate, hit the thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Set that notification bell so you guys always get notified when the next video does get uploaded. And with that being said, until next time, stay human, guys. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans that chose pile number 2. If you guys chose this beautiful crystal quartz, this is going to be your reading on how would a tarot reader describe you. So first off, if this resonates, hit that thumbs up button down below, subscribe to the channel, set that notification bell so you guys get notified when the next video does get uploaded. And how this is going to work is that I'm going to say, if I say you, this is who's getting the reading for you. If I say they, them, that is going to be you. So you are they, and they are you. Okay, so it's just going to be backwards here. So I'm going to be describing you guys, but it is going to be to someone else who's getting a reading on you guys, okay? I hope that made sense. Also, keep in mind that the more you interact with the channel, it does allow me an opportunity to connect with your energy and get you out more resonant readings. So with that being said, let's go ahead and ask the dice. So, source for pile number 2, how would a tarot reader describe them to someone getting a reading on them? How would a tarot reader describe pile number 2 to someone? Source, how would a tarot reader describe pile number 2 to someone? Okay. Let's go ahead and zoom in. That's way too far. Okay. Okay, so we have the second house with Pisces and Saturn. This person has sacrificed a lot for their life, also for their spiritual journey. They have done a lot. They are someone who has given up a lot in regards to their home and their material wealth. And this could have been somebody who quit their job in order to pursue their spiritual journey, right? And it cost them a lot just doing what they wanted to do. So they could also be someone who does divination. They could be someone who does like something that's very spiritual, yoga instructor, sound healing, crystal healing. This could be someone who's a Reiki healer. This could be someone who's just inspirational, motivational speaker, right? But it's not something that is really like that 9-to-5 type of energy. Or at least they're in the process of trying to build something up with that. Right? They have a huge, huge self-esteem, and they take self-care very, very, very seriously. They like to find comfort, and they prioritize their values. And it's like, I feel like this person value their work ethic over their material gain, even though that's important to them. But it's somebody that's just like, as long as they're showing up and they're consistent, they feel a self-worth from that. They feel value from that. And they feel like that provides them with a sense of worth. This is someone who, with the Piscean energy, they could very well be like an old soul. Like, when you met them, you're probably like, wow, this person, they have a lot of wisdom. Like, they're very compassionate. They're sensitive. Sometimes they may seem like an escapist and daydreaming all the time, but understanding that that has to do with how they create in the world. And there are times when maybe they are very romantic, or you've seen them have very psychic abilities. This could be a psychic medium. Again, this is something that's not your daily drive. They're doing something that is outside the norm. While it is becoming more accepted now, this is someone who really does do things that are different, and whatever that is, right? But they've done a lot of introspective work. They have lived in this place of being self-pitying, and they didn't like it. They know that they're their own self-undoing. Sometimes they can be self-sacrificing, and they can be have a savior complex, and they know this. And they know this, and in order to bring that self-worth back to themselves, they've had to sacrifice family, they've had to sacrifice friends, they've had to sacrifice work, they've had to sacrifice everything that was stable to them, right? Everything that they knew. Whatever their foundations were in life, whatever they grew up knowing, like the emotional ego in their life, they had to sacrifice that and say, no more, this is not serving me. And they went through it. This person went through it. It's really heavy energy right now. But because of that, they also have the responsibility of bringing that to others, and they're aware of this. And so now that they're building up their own foundations on this stable self-belief system, they're actually able to bring that to others through whatever their profession is. I do feel like it has to do with reaching others and bringing foundations. You know, you have the second house, which is ruled by Taurus energy, but Taurians are the most foundational zodiac in the zodiac wheel. Like, they're very much all about living luxury in this material world. And so it's like you have these two very material energies here with Saturn and the second house, and then it's sandwiching this Piscean energy, which is that ethereal, is that the right word? Ethereal? It's like the ethers and the beyond the veil and the things unseen, not tangible. So you're being these tangible energies that are surrounding this untangible, and it's like, how do I manifest the untangible into this tangible material world, this physical realm? And this is something that they have worked on, and they've let go of a lot of the blockages that have been in their life. They've let go of things that have been traditional and conventional. And now they're allowing themselves to be disciplined while focusing on how to clear out their karma, while focusing on how to clear out their childhood wounds. Like, I definitely get a childhood wound energy here. This person could actually be someone who helps you connect with your inner child, right? And helps you do the shadow work there. But that's something that they do take very seriously, or that they're about to take very seriously due to the life that they've lived. Let's get some tarot out on it and see what else comes through for them. Okay, let me move these up. All right, Source. For pile number 1, or I'm sorry, pile number 2. How would a tarot reader describe pile number 2? What else do we need to know? Very loving is the energy that I'm getting here. But having to make a choice between romanticized love and real love. That's something that they also feel that they had to sacrifice. So how would a tarot reader describe pile number 2, Source? One more. How would a tarot reader describe pile number 2? Very happy. Like, this is someone who does wear a smile despite their burdens, despite their hardships. Okay, thank you. Yeah. They've lived in this, like, place where they couldn't express themselves for a long time, right? And if you see, we have the number 4 here, and the 4 is in reverse. And so we have 4 is the number of your foundations, your strength, structure, your stability, connecting with your root chakra. That's all about your right to be here in this world. And so there's a point in their life where they didn't feel like they belonged. This is someone, and this is a trigger alert, but this is someone that could have very well contemplated suicide at some point in time, or has been surrounded by suicide in their life. And it is something that they have really worked hard on to understand and to know, like, wow, I can't even get this out. Hold on just a second, guys. I feel you guys choking up. Please know it is okay to cry, okay? Because I'm getting choked up. They've worked really hard at understanding their right to be here, because there's something that they experienced in their life from family, from friends, or people who just chose not to understand them, or chose to brush them aside when they were experiencing things, and to make it feel like what they went through didn't matter. And they've spent so much time on understanding this. And in understanding this, they've realized that they were surrounded by toxic individuals who escalated these feelings of I hear demoralization. Like, it's like they devalued them and they demoralized them. And oh my goodness, this person's been through a lot. Let's get some more cards out. Thank you, Source. It wants to be this way. And please have another card here, Source, for pile number 2. Thank you. Look. I love that this card came out here. Let's turn these over and see. This was something that was really hard for them to cope with. I apologize if I cry on this reading. This is very heavy stuff. Okay. When we talk about sacrifice, they almost sacrificed their life. And in turn, they've learned to use that pain as something to propel them forward on the journey. They've used that suffering as something that has made them stronger in this now life. And it's like from that they became, look, we have this instability, the suffering. They cut out the instability in their life. They cut out these toxic people. Look, this could be toxic parents in their lives. These could be very ruthless parents, people who didn't respect their boundaries. Like, I don't know why, but I'm getting this energy of like, these are parents who like took down somebody's door or wouldn't let them have the door closed, wouldn't let them have anything. It was like, basically, you do what I say you do. What's that show or that movie, Matilda? Like from way back in the day, Matilda, I think that's the name of it, Matilda. That's like those parents there. It was like, that's how it feels. Or like for her birthday, they got her, what was it, like a toilet seat or something like that. It was like, they didn't see them as a person. They saw them as just a burden, or they saw them as someone who, like, it was like a joke. Like, I keep hearing like a joke, like it's like, oh, it's a joke having this child in my life. And it wasn't. It was like, they're a real person. And it was like, it took them a lot to really cut not only these people out, or to cut out the pain and the suffering that they experienced here. It took a lot for them to understand that they had a choice to change their foundational beliefs and their foundation in life. And from that, they found hope. From that, they found grace. This is someone who, despite the background that they've experienced in their life, when you meet them, like I was saying, they always have a smile on their face. And if you see her, she has a smile on her face, right? Like this is someone, it's like the bigger the smile, the bigger the problems. And this is exactly the type of person that they are. But it doesn't stop them from being a loving person. They could very well be a starseed, and that's why they've experienced this hardship. It's just to show the world that no matter what hardships they go through, no matter what it is that life brings at them, they'll still always be a good person. And yet there is this point where they felt like they didn't belong here. It's almost like they felt so different from everybody because all they kept seeing were brutal people, narcissistic people who had ulterior motives and didn't care about them in their life. It was always like, oh, this person's here for my bidding. This person's here to bring me something. And so for them to get rid of these people or to let go of these relationships, it felt like a sacrifice, because for them, that's what their whole life was built on. And sometimes saying goodbye is the hardest thing that we'll do, even though we know it's the best thing that we can do. And that's what they had a hard time coping with, the fact that these people were what was stunting them from growing and succeeding in life. And so they ended up taking this journey less traveled from their family, from what they grew up with, right? It's like ever since they were a child, it was like, why don't they see me? Why don't they see who I am? How can they not love me? And it was like ever since they were a child, like always feeling like they weren't worthy enough to even be in this world. No one deserves that. No one. And this person is so incredible because they found their light, and they found that they're their own light, and they know how to light their candle. And through some miracle, they've kept it burning for years and years. And now it's growing. And because of that, they get to light other people. And it's important for them to work on their spiritual journey, because that's what helped them get to this. The star is a very spiritual card, right? It's like, again, that intangible energy. We see the stars, but they're little lights in the sky, you know? I always hear that, Timon and Pumbaa. What are the stars? Oh, they're tiny fireflies that got stuck up in that big bluish black thing. Oh, I always thought they were balls of gas burning millions and billions of miles away. Pumbaa, to you, everything's gas. Sorry guys, I have to lighten the mood here, but it's like you guys have found the light here. It's like they found the light in their own life. And it's like despite the people who are always over their shoulder, like telling them what to do, Despite the people who are always over their shoulders saying, oh, this, that, and the other. You know, and it might not be as extreme as contemplating suicide, but it could be just someone who is constantly surrounded by suicide and also thinking, like, why am I here experiencing all of this? And they've had to learn how to overcome this through various methods and balancing their own energy out, but it's left them feeling exhausted from the journey. Let's get some more cards out on it. Can I please have some more cards for pile number 2? Whoa, okay, thank you. This came out in pile 1. I want to get the other ones out before I talk about this. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So 3 cards out on your guys' pile came out in pile 1 too. So this could be... It could be a continuation confirmation, but that doesn't mean that you guys have to watch pile 1 either. My apologies, this actually goes this way. So we have the 6 of clubs, the 9 of diamonds, and the Jack of hearts with the 9 of spades and the 2 of spades underneath. This is like someone who's been through so many sleepless nights and learning that they had to choose to change the way they saw the world, because otherwise that was going to be their destruction. That was going to be their destruction, and they had to learn how to change the way they saw the world. This is all being stuck in their heads, like someone or some situation in their life left them stuck in their head, and they realized that it was like when things fell apart. So there's something that happened here that caused things to fall apart. But in turn, in falling apart, there was like some sense of freedom that came with that. And in that freedom, they're finally able to take a breath and like reserve space for themselves with the 9 of coin or the 9 of diamonds here. And this is showing the Hermit. It's like finally finding some time to really go within, to retreat within, and to deal with the hardships that they've been through. To find happiness, which is something that may not have ever existed, right? But somehow out of the darkness, they were able to find some sense of feeling and self-worth, especially with the 2nd house here. It's like it's taken them a long time loving themselves. This is like, I loved myself out of the darkness. That's what I heard right now. I've loved myself out of the darkness. But it doesn't mean that it came easily. It came at a cost. And the cost was high. And weighing. And hard. And difficult. And now they're in this place of really shining. And that's why they got treated the way that they did growing up, because they shined so bright. They were so different. And that's part of the problem. Like, it's like when you shine and others see your value before you do, it's like they don't want you to succeed. And unfortunately, so many people are like that. They don't want you to succeed because they see how good you are. They see how talented you are. They see what you're capable of. And the immediate response is jealousy. And so it's like, let me hold them down so that I feel better about myself. And it's unfortunate that people are like that. Like, I wish they weren't. I do. I wish they weren't. But this is exactly what this person has dealt with, is people who are jealous of their abilities. They could have just, like, this is someone who could have abilities like music abilities, like talents. Like, this feels like someone who grew up with a talent, like, just had a knack for things. Whether that's all of life or one day they picked up a guitar and they were just able to play the guitar and they couldn't understand how or why. It was just so easy to them. It like made sense. Like, we have Jupiter with grow and expand. This is the spiritual planet, but it's also the planet of luck, right? It's not like Neptune where everything's cloudy. It's like, this is spiritual growth coming through here. We have, they're growing and expanding right now. They're learning how big they really are. how big they're meant to be. Like, they could very well be becoming a star. This is someone who's going to be seen in the light. You know, and they're going to be known by a lot of people because of what they've experienced in life. And not just what they've experienced, but who they are, like what their talent is. Like, I feel like despite what they've been through, let's go back to their talents, right? These talents that are just like innate talents, like they just picked it up. And it's like people are going to know them for this. And one day they may share their story with people. And people are going to be like, that's what you experienced in life? Like, people aren't going to believe it. Like, they're going to be horrified at the tales that this person has to say. It's almost kind of like, what is that? A Boy Called David? Like, have you ever read that book? It's a boy called Dave, or it's a child called it, a boy called David, David, and a man called Dave. Like, there's 3 books, and they're just, I mean, that's the type of energy that I'm getting here. Look, we have number 25 with Peregrine Falcon Observatory. Yeah, it's like this person has always had to sit back and watch just to save themselves, to keep themselves in a safe, protected place. And that didn't even always help them, but what it did do was it created a situation where they have a very good intuition. They have a very strong intuition, and they're very capable of leaning on their third eye when they need to. And they're not afraid to listen to their third eye, because it's like their third eye has gotten them out of some really crazy situations. That intuition, it's gotten them out of some situations that could have ended badly. Got me all emotional up in here, pile 2. Green Man Synergy. They're finding balance again. Not just balance, but this is like finding out how their energy plays a part in the universal energy as a whole. It's like learning that without my energy, there would be something else that doesn't exist. This is something they're learning. Like realizing that without my talent, without my gift, without what I have, someone else would suffer, or something else in the whole of life would suffer. Like the butterfly effect, right? And that's what they're realizing right now. They're coming to terms with, and it's like that acceptance of, this is like whole acceptance of self. And it's been difficult to get to this place in their life. Oh, look at this. This flipped out. And this is the image on the back of these cards, right? It's number 20. I love you. These are powerful words. This card literally talks about saying these words to self. This is what they're learning, self-love, right? We had that with the second house here. It's like learning how to love themselves so deeply that they see they are the light of God, or they see they are the light of the universe, or they see that they hold value just for being here on this earth with breath in their lungs. And I love that this looks like a harp, and that's what brings me back to that music again. There's something about music here that's very important for this person. Like whether it is a way for them to get away, which we saw with the Piscean energy, right? But it's something that helps them cope with life. It's like, and for them, it's like when they listen to positive music, that's like their pump up, get it and go. Like that helps them really get into the mood of really tackling life. What came out on the bottom over here? Listen with your heart. We have number 1. You're listening, but you need to hear with a loving heart. So there could be something that you're doing in this person's life that you need to open your heart to. Maybe you didn't realize how hard this person had it. Right? Maybe you realize that, like, now you're seeing that they really have struggled. So maybe you've been really hard on them. And it's just asking you to listen with a loving heart here. Like, listen and see that this person has really struggled, and there's no reason to put them through anything or hold expectations over them, because they've already experienced enough of that in their life. They need somebody in their life, whatever role you're going to play in their life. They need somebody in their life who sees them for who they are, but who supports them unconditionally. There's nothing in the world that will ever tear you guys apart because you truly admire them for the person they are. That's what they need. We have Leo, self-confidence, loyalty, and creativity. Yeah, that's exactly what they've been working on, is building up their self-confidence. Again, realizing that they belong. Right? This is their candle. What was I saying? They've lit their own candle. By some miracle, it stayed burning. Even when there was nothing left, there's nothing to keep it lit, it still stayed burning. Number 16 with responsibility and meerkat. And now they're seeing that they have a responsibility in the world, right? They have something that's going to help others see clearly the world around them because of what they've experienced, what they've had to give up, what they've gone through. Now they have a responsibility to that. Right? And Saturn energy is all about our responsibilities and our disciplines. And so their life disciplines are helping them come into this place of giving to the world around them. Like again, they're going to be a star. They're going to help many people. They could be helping the world as a whole, or they could be helping a community or a family. I mean, it doesn't have to be millions of people, but it's like they're going to help people no matter what. They're going to help them see. Look, we have ceremony, invocation coming out. This is what they do now. This is what they do. They spend time with themselves and with spirit, with source, with the universe. In prayer and meditation, this could be ancestors, right? Whatever it is, they spend time with the ethers, in the ether, which we saw with the Piscean energy here. It's like they take this ritual for them very serious, because that's what has made them feel as though they belong, is the love that they've received from source, knowing that no matter what, they're still loved from above. Like no matter how humans treat them here, they're still loved from something that created us. And so they take their ceremonies and their rituals very serious. And this is someone who's not going to give up on these just because someone else comes into their life. Like it's always going to be a part of their life. Let's see what came out for their card. Seeing the true you. This is it. What was I saying? Like they're finally seeing themselves as belonging here. It's like they put down the poison. There's like this cup up here. It's like they put down the poison that everybody was feeding them, and they stopped and looked at the reflection in the water, and it's like they finally see themselves for who they are, and they're loving themselves. It's like, wow, like I'm such an amazing person. And they may have days when they don't feel this way, but they're learning to love the person they see looking back at them. And they're learning that this is an amazing being who's sent here with a purpose. Even though all this time it's been hard, like they've struggled a lot, especially with the people closest to them. They've struggled a lot. We have number 11 with this card. It's 29, which is 11. And that's a very spiritual number. It's all about spiritual growth and spiritual evolution, right? So sometimes we believe what others tell us we are, as though the self we see reflected back to us is through their eyes is truth. Yet the accuracy of a reflection depends on the clarity of that which is doing the reflecting. If the receiver forms any opinions about what is being perceived, then what is being reflected back to us will, at best, be distorted. It is not necessarily through ill will, it is just the mechanics of the situation. Even the moon reflects the sun in varying degrees of fullness and clarity. We can learn something of the nature of the sun from the moon, but not as much through the direct perception. This oracle has come to you because you've been putting rather too much faith in the reflections of others that others have of you, to the point that you may not be honoring all that you are and all that you are becoming because you believe too little of yourself. There may be those around you that are able to reflect you more faithfully and even help you see more of your own greatness and beauty. These are the souls blessed with inner stillness. In the clear waters of their ocean and of consciousness, you can come to recognize yourself with clear perception. However, there are those who have not tended their own ocean and are unable to be still enough to genuinely receive and reflect your light back to you. There is no judgment here. Each takes the path of self-healing that is available and appropriate at any given time. However, to attempt to see the magnificence of a sun in a very partial moon does not make too much sense. If you are blessed with those in your life who can show you the beauty within you, wonderful. This oracle comes to you with a task you are ready for now. You are to begin to develop the art of direct perception. This is the ability to recognize yourself not only in the eyes of others, but from how you feel about yourself, how you experience yourself, how you observe yourself, with compassion and kindness from within. This is a step towards radical empowerment that does not require perfection in order for you to recognize you are lovable and have much to offer. It is the empowerment based on the acceptance of all that you are, working with your strengths, tending to your weaknesses, and being loving, encouraging, and nurturing of all that you perceive. As you continue on this journey, you will not only see your human self, but the eternal within. This is a breathtaking experience that opens you up to the creative energy that flows abundantly through all of life. It is an experience that takes great preparation, because we must be strong within our own self-love and acceptance to be able to hold acceptance for all of life. This oracle is nudging you into that preparation for when you have the experience of truly beholding yourself. All judgment, fear, and doubt will fall away, and you will just know yourself to be sacred. Then you will be asked to embrace the deeper journey of sacred rebellion against judgment and fear, and into passionate creativity and unconditional trust in life. Okay, like this is what they've dealt with. They've been judged their whole life. They've been put on the stand and on the spotlight and basically told that what they are is wrong. And they're learning to see that they're not. Like, how they are in this moment is perfect. And this is not an easy journey, especially having to deal with people who you thought loved you and who you thought you could trust. And these are the things that they told you were awful and made you feel less than. Like, that's what this person has dealt with for a huge portion of their life. And now they're opening up to the beautiful being that they are. And it's taking a lot to fall in love with themselves. So be patient with them, as they need to be patient with themselves. Okay? This is what I have for you, pile number 2. I hope that this helps. I hope that it resonates. If it does, leave me a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel and set the notification bell so you guys get notified when the next video does get uploaded. But with that being said, I'm going to leave it here and get on out of here. And until next time, stay human, guys. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans that chose pile number 3, or you chose this green aventurine. This is going to be your pile on how would a tarot reader describe you. This would be to someone who's getting a reading for you. So really quick, let me go ahead and get into this. If this resonates, hit the thumbs up button down below, subscribe to the channel, and set the notification bell so you guys get notified when the next video does get uploaded. Keep in mind that the more you interact with the channel, the more it does give me an opportunity to get you out more resonant readings. And yeah, this is going to be a little bit different. So when I say they, that means you who's watching this. When I say you, that means the person who would get a tarot reading on you, okay? So you is they are you, all right? So just backwards here. I hope that makes sense. So far, they've been intense and good and beautiful and overwhelming, but all in a good way. It's been fun. So I have no doubt yours is going to be the same way. Let's go ahead and get into it and ask the dice first and foremost. Okay, let's get into it, guys. Let's see what comes out. Okay, so source for pile number 3. How would a tarot reader describe pile number 3? Source, how would a tarot reader describe pile number 3? What can you tell us, source? How would a tarot reader describe pile number 3? Let me zoom in for you guys. Don't worry, I'll move those down. Guys are some serious peeps. Okay. They are very serious. Right? And that's okay. Because their seriousness has given them some sort of financial stability or material stability in the world. Like, they're capable of creating their material wealth, especially with the second house in Capricorn. Okay, so with the second house in Capricorn here, this is somebody who is capable of creating very stable moves in this physical realm. Like, they're not afraid to tackle the hard things and take really small steps to getting there. Even though it takes time, they communicate what they want and they go after it. Right? So this is someone who you could see has really stable finances, or they have a really high income. There's someone who's capable of really complicated business transactions, right? They have a really high self-esteem. They also love material things. Like, I mean, it's not like something that they live for, but it is something that they live for. right? Because they enjoy their material things. Like, this is someone who is they're gonna upgrade their car because that's what they want and because they can, right? It's like, because I can. Like, that's how I feel. Like, this person is someone who wants to live the luxurious life, whatever that means for them. But it also comes because they have a good work ethic and they're not afraid to put in the hard effort. And that's where they find comfort. And they know that their daily routines and how they prioritize things for themselves is all that matters in life. It's like, instead of prioritizing everyone else's needs, this is someone who's going to prioritize their own needs. And if they want it, they're going to find a way to provide that for themselves. They're not going to wait around and hope that someone's going to get the memo and bring it to them. So it's like, if they want a new TV, they're going to go and they're going to buy a new TV. Like, it's not someone who necessarily makes impulsive buys. They could have the money to do that, but this is someone who's going to find a way to save for it and make that become a reality in their life. If they want a Ferrari, they're going to find a way to make that a reality. That's exactly the type of person this is. They're very strategic and determined, hardworking. Like, if you want to say somebody is hardworking, they are the epitome of what that means in the dictionary, because this person shows up day in and day out and does what is necessary for what they want, what they have, and who they are in life. Right? This is someone who could also work out. I'm getting this image of someone working out at the gym every day. It doesn't necessarily have to be them, but it is that energy. It's like, they're the person who goes to the gym 8 days a week, right? Like, how does that work? Well, that's just, they make it work. That's how determined they are when it comes to their life, okay? They're super ambitious. They have built their own stability, their security. They do not want to burden others with their life. This could be a masculine that we're talking about. It doesn't have to be. This could just be someone who has very masculine energy, right? And they've just learned how to rely on their masculine side to get them through life. But this could also be a masculine in life. It just depends on what they decide to, what they identify with or who they are, right? Sometimes they can limit themselves, though, because they can be very cynical of their work. They can be very worried that people aren't going to like what they've put out. So this is like the perfectionist, right? This is somebody who works really hard. They know that they've done a good job. But the minute that they hit send and they send off their project, they start going, oh my gosh, what if this, or what if that, or what if so-and-so sees this, or what if they see this mistake over here? Like, I just didn't have time to fix it. Like, this is someone who does get fearful of things like that, and it can put them in a rigid state where they might not move forward, right? They might have a period of time where they're so stressed out about getting the reply back on their project that they like basically don't want to hang out with anybody right there, because they know they're going to take it out on someone, right? They're going to be super not burdening. They're going to be super pessimistic, and they know that. And so there might be a point in time when they're going through a lot of stress and they may just cut themselves off from the world, because they know that they deal with that internally much better than putting it out onto someone. However, regardless, this is someone that since they were little, they're very articulate. They're very intelligent. They have a wide range of vocabulary. And if they don't, this is someone who just knows how to show their smarts. Like, whether that's street smart or book smart, they just know how to communicate in the world as we know it. And they're very fluid. Like, I'm getting this very fluid energy through, thick and thin, whatever comes their way. Like, they're just fluid in the way that they communicate with people. So when you see this person, despite how they work, like, you see them with one group of people, like, say their friends, to the group of coworkers, to their bosses, to so on and so forth. And they're just as fluid through communication with each group. It's like, while the way that they approach it may change and vary, the way that they show up and present themselves does not. And that fluidity of being able to meld into each situation is it's very rooted in their being. They could have a business with friends, I'm hearing, or business with family. So some of these people, they do have a business with friends or they have a business with family. But they're always learning and they love to pass on what it is that they learn. And they're always asking questions. This is someone who asks questions not because they're trying to annoy anyone or not really because they're trying to get to know you. But the way that they're trying to get to know you is they're trying to understand how you process the world around you. Because that's what they want someone to understand about them, is how they process the world around them. And so they ask questions to learn how others process the world around them. And that's why you might see this person ask a lot of questions. Let's get some tarot out on it and see what else comes through. Okay. All right, Source, how would a tarot reader describe pile number 3? How would a tarot reader describe pile number 3, Source? Thank you. How would a tarot reader describe pile number 3? How would a tarot reader describe pile number 3, Source? Whoa, thank you. Okay. Definitely like get a suit and tie image right now. So this person's very professional when they show up for life, really. Yeah. They're not afraid to try new things. With the Queen of Cups on the bottom. It's interesting because I was getting this feeling, and I didn't say it. That's okay. It happens sometimes. But I was getting this feeling with the Green Aventurine that why that's the gems or the crystal that's on this pile is because this person is not very heart-centered. While they're very action-oriented, this is someone who relies on their solar plexus rather than any other chakra. And so this person may have an imbalance along their chakras, but their solar plexus may be very overactive because they're always relying on taking action, especially in the work situations. Yeah. Let's see. But they're good at making boundaries. Look, with the King of Cups. And you could be the King of Cups that's in their life, right? It's like trying to offer them love or wanting to offer them love, but you're still not looking at them just yet. You have this wise knowing that they're still in the process of healing. And so right now it's like they're fearful of the future. They're fearful of giving their love because it's all about setting firm boundaries and not getting stuck in things that cause them heartache or pain or cause them to be stuck in life, because it's something that they've dealt with in the past, is where they've given love and they've gotten stuck. And so it's easier to focus on work and things that are material, because when they focus on that, it means that they have control over it. Yeah, this person has had a lot of bad luck. It's like they realize it's like bad things have happened to me, so I'm going to go and make my own luck. But it feels like there's been a lot of things that were just... Okay, so this is a trigger alert, but there's a lot of things that were unjust. The other thing is that they have a tendency to judge others very harshly because they judge themselves so harshly. So this is someone who is quick trigger judge. Like, it's like they see you, and rather than getting to know you, this is someone who may judge you before they get to know you, and that's why they ask so many questions to see how you process life. Or they may ask a few questions, and in that they have like determined who you are based on those questions. Whether they're right or wrong, they're making a judgment based on that, not realizing that they're projecting their own fears and insecurities out on the world. And that's something that we all do at one point in our lives. In fact, most of us do it for a huge portion of our lives, not realizing it. And part of it comes from, there is a negativity that's coming from here, especially with the Capricornian energy. Capricorns, when they're in their shadow, they're the pessimist of the zodiac. Like, they are down. Nothing is good. No one can prove to them otherwise. Like, everything is awful in life. And it's like they complain, but they also talk about why it's so bad. It's like, oh my gosh, like this, and this happened, but this is why. It's like they're the ones that talk about how the conspiracy theory has screwed up everybody and everything. And it's like, I mean, I'm not saying that it has or it hasn't. I'm just saying, like, it's like this is a person who goes on and on and on about this, okay? And for them, they've lived in that energy where they've been really judgmental of others because they're still figuring out that they've been judgmental of themselves. Okay? And that's why I was saying, like, I did hear that they're not afraid to try new things. And so there might be something that comes up that shows them that they've been super judgmental, or they've asked that question, why does it feel like everything falls apart in my life? And now their spirit is trying to bring them to the answer of really looking at self and realizing that they're being their own worst enemy in a lot of situations. And it's because of that down energy, that negative energy. And it's like that, I don't feel like that's them at their core though. Like, that's the interesting thing here. It's like at their core, I do feel like they're a heart-centric person, right? But they've learned to block off their heart because it's been broken so many times. And you have the Queen of Cups here. It's like this problem with giving love, this issue with saying, hey, you know what, I have love to give, even though she's the one that doesn't ever, like, she's very kind, she's very compassionate when she's in the upright, right? She's very intuitive. But she also doesn't give her love freely because she knows that not everybody is on the same level as her. But when you're in the reverse, not only are you not giving your love, now it's like, I don't think I'll ever give it in the future. I'll always be in a position where I have to feel like I'm shielding myself from something because of how much I've had hurt in the past. And with the twos coming out together here, right? The one here and the one on the other side of the Queen, it's talking about the duality of love and respect and trust in a life. And that's what they've experienced. And so in turn, what that has created is them to set these solid boundaries where it's like, I'm cutting myself off from everyone else because they don't want to get hurt. And again, they protect themselves from that. And that's where I feel like you're coming in with this love cup, this cup of love to offer them, or you're going to in the future, but they're still worrying. They're still worrying about the heartbreak and the exhaustion and the pain and the suffering that they've experienced from a past situation. This is coming up from a parental figure. This could be a mother. Okay, this could be a mother. This could be a father too, though. But I'm really getting a mother energy here. It could have been a Libra or Cancer. Okay, it could have been a Sagittarius or a Pisces too. But I'm really getting Libra and Cancer energy here. It's like in the shadow, you know. And when Libra's in their shadow, like, they're really ruthless. And it's like the justice goes out the window. It's like they become the judge and they're judging everybody. It's not even about justice for anything. It's like judging everybody. And I feel like right now they're just dealing with a broken heart. So they could have really just gotten out of a bad situation and dealing with that broken heart. And it's manifesting itself in ways that may not be healthy, but they're not afraid to communicate things, right? They're not afraid to communicate what they want. And so right now, maybe what they're doing, okay, this energy here is giving me this energy of like, I'm staying away from everybody so that I don't lash out at everybody like unnecessary. Like I was saying earlier, they have this tendency to cut themselves off. It's like when things go bad, what was I saying? Like they send the project and then they're really stressed out and they have a tendency to really like lean into this energy of taking it out at everybody else. And I feel like that's what this is verifying too. It's like, or clarifying, it's like that energy of like when they're so stressed out, they have a tendency to really lash out at others, and they know that. And they're trying to figure out what it is that, you know, is causing that. And so right now it's just step by step, they're making small movements towards that and understanding the duality in life, and that this is okay that they're like this, but they judge themselves so harshly. It's like they expect themselves to be the perfect model of recovery. Like it's like, oh, if I don't do it the first time around, then there's something wrong with me. Like this person has a very hard time being compassionate with themselves. Like they have a hard time seeing themselves as someone who's allowed to mess up because they don't give themselves space to mess up, right? They're very much in the material realm. It's like everything is very black and white. Yeah, and this is heavy. Like, look, this is a heavy situation for them. And we have the green coming out again with this card. Like, again, it's like connecting with their heart. That's something that, her mouth is covered here. It's like not able to connect with her heart because she's not able to communicate with her heart. And that's what with the 10 of clubs here, that's the energy that I'm getting here. Is like I'd rather carry all the burdens of work and the physical life because that's easy. But when it comes to my heart and what my heart wants, that's a difficult situation because it's like, maybe they thought they found true love, or maybe they felt like, you know, their family never loved them the way that they should have. Whatever their situation is in life, wherever they gave their heart away, whoever they gave their heart away to, it literally came back broken into a million pieces. And so it's like, rather than deal with the pain of that again, it's like, I'm just going to focus on work and material life and material things, right? Yeah, and so look, again, they're not afraid to communicate, okay? They're not afraid to have talk. Like, this is someone who I feel like is able to communicate exactly what they want, but when it comes to communicating their love and that's what sets them into this panic mode. It's like they burn themselves every time, or they're afraid they're going to burn themselves with this fire right here in between them. It's like, I want to love somebody. They want to have a good conversation. They want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with somebody. They want to be there experiencing this. But it's like every time they go to open up to somebody, they feel like they're the ones that get burned. They get the short end of the stick. Yeah, and it's just been burdensome for them, right? So it's like, it hurts. Like, I feel like this is them crying from the top of the mountain, the top of the tower. It's like, this is not something that they would show to the outside world. Okay, I want you to understand, this is not something that they would come to you and they would cry about. Yes, they'll complain about it. They'll talk about their broken heart, and they'll talk about how I'll never find love again in this life, because every time anybody falls in love, like, they're the first ones to be like, anytime love happens, it just ends in a broken heart. And it's like, right now, really connecting with an inner truth of themselves, I feel like this is becoming clear to them. And if it's not, there's going to be something that sets it in motion, that their broken heart is... there's something that's very honest at the center of their soul that's going to come through here, and it has to do with them seeing themselves through the eyes of the divine, seeing themselves as being able and capable of love and being lovable. I feel like even saying that right now, it feels very resistant. It's like, I'm not lovable. Like, I keep hearing that, and it's like, that truth of who they are is learning that they are lovable, and then saying that out loud all the time. But that's so hard for them, because it's like, that means that I'd have to let go of something that I've been carrying around that makes me feel like this is who I am. And it's just something that they've experienced, but it feels so much like it's a part of who they are. And that's why they have this tendency to lash out, especially when it comes to work, because this feels like the only thing that they've had control of in their life. They can't control other people, but when it comes to their job, it's like they can control their output and their hard work and building their stability. And if something goes wrong with that, then it's like crumbling the very core of their being. And this is something they want to, like, honestly, look at this. It's like, this is something they want to go away from, but they have to find it in themselves to really connect with their intuition and find balance between the material realm and the spiritual realm. And that's something that is hard for them because it's outside of what's tangible. This spiritual realm sometimes feels as foreign as the love that they've had in their lives, or that they want in their lives. And we have the Ace of Swords coming through here saying the truth here. But they're not afraid, or well, the Ace of Spades. But anyways, it is the Ace of Swords being represented here. And they're not afraid to communicate what they want. But what's hard for them is connecting with others in this very intimate and sometimes romantic and non-romantic ways. This could be intimate platonic and intimate romantic. It's like having that connection with others when they just feel like it's all for a lost cause. And it's like, if you want to be a love in their life, like, it's like you're going to have to be patient with them and give them some time to really heal their broken heart. And they have to find it within their own soul too, to give themselves a chance. And realize that they deserve that chance. Like, there's this feeling of not deserving it. And really, like, that feels so cemented in their personality. Like, I don't deserve love. And that's, like, the furthest thing from the truth. They're as the deserving as love as anybody on the face of the planet. But they've convinced themselves that love is something that's a myth. Right? Oh, I think it's going to rain, guys, with thunder. It got really dark in here all of a sudden. Look at this. Yeah, they have to learn how to have fun. House 5, passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity. This is just telling me that they have to learn how to bring fun back into their life. These are two very serious energies. Taurus is serious about luxury, okay? Capricorn is serious about material life, like money and physical things that you can buy. But if that's all you focus on, you miss out on the joys in life, and that's hard for you to connect with this passion. And so they really need to bring a sense of fun and play back into their life. And maybe for you, that's something that you can help introduce too. Remembering that will help them reconnect with the truth that they're worthy of love. When they let fun come back into their life, they're going to feel good about themselves again. Because right now there's just this heavy energy that's lingering. We have cardinal energy here, which is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn coming out once again. Instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. Like they've lit their match, right? But now they need to light their heart on fire, because eventually the match is going to burn down and burn out their fingers, and they're going to experience burnout. If they haven't already, right? If that, for them to come into this place of justice within their life, they have to find harmony within. They have to be considerate of themselves, and they have to be fair with themselves. This person judges themselves so harshly. Like everybody goes through this. Like they're not alone. It's just when you see it happening, it's just so sad, because sometimes you just like wish you could just pour liquid love into this person. But unfortunately, love and happiness is cultivated from inside. It's not something that we can be like, oh, hey, let me just pour my love into your heart so you'll feel better. That's not how it works. Look at this. They're completely blind to how beautiful they are. Like, it's like they've blindfolded themselves, and it's like they keep reaching for something that's physical. But look, as soon as she touches this bubble, it's like going to pop, right? And as soon as the swan touches it, it's going to pop. It's not going to be there, even though it's like this feeling that it's there. It's like this beauty of love is so intangible. It's like I can't reach for it. And if I can't reach for it, then how am I ever going to create it? How am I ever going to bring it into my life? Because this is someone who drives from the material realm, okay, the physical, everything physical. This is someone who isn't happy being alone, but will rather be alone than deal with heartbreak. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is someone who would rather be alone than to deal with a heartbreak. Like, and what is so sad is they're missing out on their gift of being a heart-centric person. This is someone who could introduce into the world what real unconditional love is if they gave themselves a chance. Well, sorry guys. If they gave themselves a chance to see them, their own being and their own self, through less judgmental eyes, through eyes of unconditional love, saying, I accept you no matter what. Look, we have dawn, new beginning. So right now they're in a dark part of their life, but there is a new beginning here, and there's going to be something where it shifts, right? They're going to figure out this truth. They're going to lay down all these situations in the physical, and they're going to really speak out what they want, right? It's like, I'm going to let go of the broken heart because it's not serving me anymore. It's like it's always darkest before the dawn. And so now the light is going to shine on them. It's going to take some time. Look, guys, with love and compassion, and then volatility. Okay, volatility. Look, this makes so much sense as to what I was saying. It's like there is a new beginning coming, but the love compassion card here is all about them showing love to themselves. This is not about loving another person. This is literally about, I give my heart to me. But right now there's this sense of anger that's coming through. It's like, why did all this happen to me? And it's like, again, anger in regards to love, right? With this being on top of here, it's like, this is like everything blowing up and just finding that. And again, that fire, they're driven by this fire to create. And then vulnerability, I can't. Okay, so the thing is they're driven to create based on this fire, but it's like, this is being angry at love. Why does it have to be like this? But sometimes we have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable enough to know that we may get our hearts broken, but that doesn't keep us from finding the one that we love. This is all part of their journey. This is something they agreed to before they were born. But right now it doesn't feel like that. Right now it feels like it's me against the world. It's me against love. Love is never going to come into my life because it never ends well. And that's how they feel deep down. And it's okay because they need to experience this at this time so that they can also search for the healing. Without experiencing that, they're not going to find their healing. They're not going to find their truth. They could live by what other people would say, but that would never find root in their belief system. This is about clearing out the old paradigm that they've been living in and coming back to their heart, because they do have a gift to offer the world. But more importantly, let's let the world stay out of this. They have a huge gift to offer themselves of deep, unconditional love and seeing themselves and understanding themselves totally. So we have number 5. We talk about 5 being that uncomfortable place of change, right? That, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is so uncomfortable, but it's necessary for our journey. We have simple acts of kindness. Kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you. And this tells me that there's a need to be kind to self, because when they become kind to self, they'll begin to start working from their heart center. Okay, and that's not easy. Like, it's like what they have to do, it may sound easy, but it's not. It's actually very challenging. And while it's simple, of course it's simple. Everything on the journey is simple. That doesn't make it easy, right? Yeah, they're closing out cycles right now. We have 31 with 4 cycles and hair. This is letting go of those old beliefs that we saw here. It's like letting that go, the foundation that they were built on, this understanding what they feel they identified with, right? Holding this bouquet, it's like it felt like such an identity to them. And letting go of an identity is oftentimes very scary. And that's when we're going through those egoic deaths. And it's like, this could have been one of those egoic deaths that was buried in deep. And this wanted to come out over here. And so with it being around both of these cards, it's like, these are the cycles, is leaving love, like walking away when things get too intense. Like, I feel like there's times when they walk away when things get super intense, or when they could accidentally fall in love with somebody. It's like they immediately leave. It's like, I'm not going to go through this. And then they talk themselves out of it. And they're like, no, I don't really love that person. It's just, why do I hear it's just a chemical reaction? Like, it's just, they're just trying to like put everything else on it to explain it rather than what it is. And so there's this sense of leaving here. Yeah, we have fog veiled. Again, like that new beginning, the dawn, it's like the fog is lifting. The sun is coming out. And it's like it's shining on them and what they've been through so that they understand why they feel this way. It's ending a cycle for them that has been really heavy. It's like this person, their broken heart, whatever they dealt with, whoever they dealt with, this is like a deep betrayal of some sorts. This is someone who could have cheated on them, who could have left them, who could have cleaned out their money, right? This is someone who cleaned out everything that they had. Whatever the situation is, it left them raw on the inside. And that's something that I think anybody could relate to. We might not understand why they're in the situation that they're in, but if anybody's had their heart broken, we can absolutely relate to that and show empathy in that situation, knowing that healing does come after time has passed, and their time is coming where they're beginning to heal from this broken heart. And we have number 10 here again. We had 10, 10, 10, and 10, 10 is all about being on their path of purpose. So again, that clarification that they're exactly where they need to be right now. Even if it's not where you think they should be, it's where they need to be at this moment, because that is a powerful place for them. And we have treasure your loved ones. It is important to love others deeply. This is what they're learning. They're learning how to love others where before they weren't, but it's scary for them. It means that there's pain that's involved in that. It means that they could hurt and lose themselves, but they're learning how to do it very slowly. This is a slow, methodical journey for them so that they can come into a place of faith in love. It doesn't make it easy. None of what they're going through is easy. Now, pile 3 is the one that got 2 cards for this, so I'll read a little bit from each, but let's see what the first one is here. Look, we got number 11 here, and 11 is all about spiritual growth. We have diving for light. So let me grab the book here. Okay. Look, I love that this came out for you guys. Look at how beautiful this card is. And again, with the greens, this is like living from your heart. And being everything about one is living from their heart. And that's been the challenge here, right? That's been the challenge, especially in this reading. It says, how brave are you? Or it says, how brave you are. You are diving for light. It can be so much simpler to seek light in the heavenly, in that which is blissful, sweet, loving, and kind. To look for light in that which is dark is an advanced task that only a rebellious and brave heart will attempt. You may not feel that you have taken such a journey by choice, yet you have taken this wise challenge on from deep within your soul. Your innermost being has evoked this situation in your life with the intention that you grow in power, wisdom, and creative juice. It also wants you to experience a bold and fearless trust in life and become further empowered to live it with zest and courage. This oracle speaks of a time when you are called into darkness through life circumstances, situations, relationship challenges, or inner struggles that defy clear understanding. The darkness might be a creative block, a sense of being in a void, or feelings of depression, rage, sadness, fear, or anxiety. There may or may not be an obvious cause. The darkness might be generally accepted and socially acknowledged because there's a socially acceptable or obvious reason for it, such as a death, divorce, or retrenchment. However, there may be no obvious justification for your experience of darkness. You might not need a reason to be able to accept it. Likewise, you may struggle to find an unconditional acceptance of your experience. And that's everything we've talked about. Like, they're supposed to come into this unconditional loving of themselves. And I love that this talks about the darkness, because we talked about in the dawn card how it's always darkest before the dawn, right? So I'm going to put this here. I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder. It got so loud. So, but yeah, that makes so much sense. Let's see what your other card is. 28, collaborative dreaming. I like this card. I love all these cards. They're so pretty. Okay. Again, talking about the heart. Your heart is big enough to dream not only for yourself, but for a new humanity. And didn't I say once they come into this heart-centric energy, they'll be able to offer something of love to the world around them. Like, this is so powerful. Imagine a world that is healed with respect, understanding, and with community that fosters life. Even your dreams that relate to you alone will contribute positivity to the greater good, because this is the nature of your heart. Your heart naturally and intelligently cooperates in a grand scheme of loving creativity, working to heal the hearts of the world. The heart creates win-win situations that benefit the individual and the collective. You're being asked to honor your growing desire to co-create with conscious, like-minded people. Your collaborative dreaming is an heart-inspired win-win, bringing mutual enhancement to yourself and others. The heart wants to love and to be loved. Working with others creatively is a way to allow the heart to grow. It is a chance for you to learn how to honor yourself and others, and to find ways to live and let live, simply by growing and strengthening your active trust in your heart's guidance. You are asked to bear the rough patches that can happen when you work creatively with others. Ideas might clash, and there can be friction, particularly if you have different ways of working. Sometimes big dreams need more fire to ignite them into reality. More fire might require more friction along the creative path. It is not meant to be a permanent condition, just an aspect of the creative process with which you learn something useful if you wish. Your guidance is to embrace any experience of friction or tension within yourself, or as you work with another, with compassion, detachment, and tolerance. So again, opening up your heart so that this is that opening the heart so they can work with others. And then knowing that right now the darkness is helping them to connect with their heart, right? They're healing wounds, healing deep wounds right now. And it's like hard for them at this time, but when any of us go through that spiritual growth, it means we experience that uncomfortable change, right? That uncomfortable change in order to become what we're meant to become, to get to the other side of balance and harmony, right? Because coming into 6 is balance and harmony. And so right now, send them love, send them light, send them a big energetic hug, because they really need it. and know that they're going to get there. They're exactly where they're meant to be on their destined path. Okay, this is what I have for you guys, pile 3. I hope that this resonates. If it did, please hit that thumbs up button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Set that notification bell so you guys get notified when the next video does go live. And with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. But until next time, guys, stay human. Bye.